Hi guys, welcome to That's Grace. Today we want to talk about bonding through hurt. Nothing long, but we just felt the need to talk about this. Desana, what is it that you have on your heart?
I think oftentimes we hear people talk about bonding through good experiences, but our bond came through horrible experiences, coming out of painful scenarios. And so there was a time when I was totally just out of it, totally in depression, totally just not wanting to be alive, totally just moving through life but being in a very dark place. And I remember that having my sister at the time meant the world to me. Not because she was perfect, because she acted like she's my mother. Not because she was perfect, but because she was there and she understood me where I was. She could understand that, okay, I don't fully get what you're going through, but I'm gonna be here. And so if it was in the nights when I was having nightmares and I would jump out of the bed, my sister would always be there on guard. As me jump up and start twisting, she'd jump up and she'd have me in her lap. I fell asleep many times in her lap. Several times when I was I fell asleep after crying and soaking her lap. And then she would be up. And this girl would be up praying for me. I think, listen, my sister would be up praying for me. And I know she was praying for me because there were several times that my eyes would be closed because I was just so tired from crying. And I would hear her praying for me and praying the peace of God to come over me and praying that God would just wrap me up in his love. I remember her praying for me. And it was not just praying, but when it was at time for school, she was the one that back when it was just time for me to express those moments, she was there. And so I think we need to value those people around us and give them time to grow and give them time to blossom. And when I say really give them time, because we tend to put a time stamp on when you're supposed to improve and when you're supposed to get better. But I remember my sister giving me quite a lot of time to get by and quite a lot of time to do better. And I think that was just important. So our bond was formed through that.
Yeah, and I think I want to state also that Desana, she keeps saying that phrase where I act like her mom, but it wasn't intentional. It's just that I think the taking of the responsibility aspect of me would run over into her getting the idea that I think that I'm her mom. But if I had to be up, I didn't have to. But if I chose to be up to kind of protect you and to pray for you and to be there for you, it kind of takes a lot out of you, and sometimes it takes away from you being a child because you feel like there is an additional responsibility or an additional burden that you have to carry. When you become that person in the relationship, you don't say, okay, I have a choice. You just say, okay, this person needs me and I have to ensure that I'm there for her. I remember when Desana was going through that period of her life, I had developed this very clownish and funny personality just to ensure that she was always smiling, and that basically become a part of me. When she had finally gotten over it, I still held on to that characteristic for a while and that personality, but then I realized that it slowly left me to the point where when I was recording the video, when I did the first twin series and I was around my twin sister, I felt that the video was boring because me knowing myself, that is not how I am around my sister. I'm normally the one cracking all the jokes and my sister was just there laughing. I remember my sister found me so hilarious, guys. My sister would be having a really bad day at school and she was looking forward just to seeing me because the moment she saw me, I was there just cracking jokes. even though I was going through all those stuff at school, as I was talking about the bullying and the different issues, how I would come home and talk about that story, it brought smile to my sister. And I think not only my sister but even mom as well, the entire family. And I just think that that was a sacrifice that I chose to make at the time, and it built my personality. Also, it was kind of detrimental to me in another sense, because yes, there's a part of you that says I want to do this, but then there's a other part of you that feels like you're being burdened, and that part hurts, especially when you feel like, all right, I've given this person 5 years to be them, and you feel like, okay, right now I feel like I need some time to be the one doing the crazy stuff and to be the one crying and not caring. And at one point in our siblingship, I felt like the son was not giving me any. I felt like, girl, I've been the one being responsible from we were little. And I felt like even when we were at university, this girl was saying she's stressed and she couldn't bother. But me being the responsible one, I always felt the need that things had to be done, and even if it was at the cost of my happiness, that I would still do it. So if mom would say, all right, mom needed help with the housework because mom was working hard. At one point mom was even sick, and I remember my sister coming home and she was all about her assignment. She was all about, my work needs to be done. And I was saying, yes, I understand your work needs to be done, but you have to help carry some of the weight. And she really didn't understand what I meant. I think it was far after that. Guys, it took my sister not living with me to understand what I was talking about. I think it was when she left the covering of mom and I that she really recognized that, hey, you know that I'm very selfish, or hey, you know, I am very hard to live with. But in spite of all of that, guys, I loved my sister. There was no doubt about it. I just felt like it was my time to not care. I don't think I got that time though, but I'm fine. I survived. Guys, I don't know if you realize it, but Sana is not her usual chirpy self, because I think that this topic has really hit home on a different level. But this is what it's all about. It's not just about the chirpiness, and it's not just about the happy topics, but these are real issues. And I believe that our twinship, it went through a lot. Our twinship showed us that we could depend on each other. I remember when we were doing CXCs and our mom was sick, our mom was bedridden, and we basically had to hold the fort down. Not only that, but we had to ensure that we still studied. There came a time when it got difficult to find lunch money because there was no source of income, and God sent an angel to take us in basically, and kept us throughout the exam season. And even though we were there, we still had to fight, because we had to fight with the idea knowing that our mom was somewhere else bedridden and we were here, and we were well kept. The person took care of us, but we're still thinking about our mom. We're still thinking that we had the responsibility to not give up and to not fail. And I think living in that space and in going through what we're going through, our twinship, the bond grew even more. I think that was a point in our twinship where if my sister was hurting, I could stay from Alpha and feel that something was wrong with my sister. That was when we started connecting on a spiritual level. It was no longer about, oh, we're twins and whatever. We had crossed over into spiritual things, and that was the time we learned to pray that time, and we were still going to church and doing our best to stand for God. And that is a hard thing to do when you're trying to find things about God and to find yourself in Christ. Yeah, we feel like because we are Christians that God should really make it easy for us, or easier, you know. Uh, but every experience, God intentionally allows you to go through it to teach you something, and that is basically what God did with us.